Cleo Decroux, the Mime Artist, is the newest character added to Identity 5 as of June 2026. A female survivor with the role of a mime artist, she has quite an interesting, unique, yet eerie and dark backstory surrounding her. It's actually a bit late for me to discuss her backstory, but I guess there are still people who don't know about it at all, so I kinda wanna make a backstory analysis for her too. Gathering information from several sources like the IDV Wiki, the IDV Discord, Twitter, Reddit, and many more, I think we can all agree that Cleo is not innocent, as it's heavily implied that she has done something horrible to someone else, and maybe even to multiple people. Many people believe that she kidnapped people, or even unlived them. But why did she do that? What was her motive? Also, in my eyes, she seems to be suffering from something called Peter Pan syndrome, but what actually is it? Well, we're gonna dive into all of this in the video. Introduced during the May 2026 livestream alongside The Hunter Emile and The Prodigy, Cleo Decroux is a female survivor set to release in June 2026. Her designated role in the game is called the Mime Artist. Now, for those who still don't know, a mime artist is someone who delivers or performs a form of storytelling called mime, which itself is a type of storytelling through body movements without the use of speech, either as theatrical media or performance art. This kind of performance has existed since the ancient Greek period and continues to thrive and evolve even today. Several famous mime artists have existed throughout history, such as Etienne Decroux, Charlie Chaplin, and even someone from the modern era that some of us probably know, Rowan Atkinson. Etienne Decroux is believed to be one of the inspirations behind this character, considering they share the same last name, Decroux. But not just that. If we look into Cleo's design notes, we can see that part of her design was also inspired by the legendary mime artist Charlie Chaplin. So, it can be said that Cleo's overall design takes inspiration from both Etienne Decroux and Charlie Chaplin. One of the things that makes her unique to me is the fact that she appears almost childlike, even though in reality, she was most likely already in her late 20s or even early 30s. How so, you ask? Well, this is where her backstory comes in.
This isn't how it should be. Stop looking at me like that, please. Kids, where did you all go? A world of feelings doesn't need words. When my fingers move, even invisible butterflies take flight.
Cleo, take us back to Butterfly Valley. Sadness and poverty can't touch our little playground. Stand in a circle so the giants won't spot us.
What's at the top of the tower? I never had the chance to find out.
You dreamy lunatic! Keep an eye on her!
Mom, Dad, if I leave, will home be better? Come on, smile. This is going to be one amazing trip. Goodbye, my dear.
Always be together.
We're proud of you.
Don't be scared. I'm not going to hurt you. A pearl covered in dust.
Ta-ta-ta. Oh, look at you. You've all grown up. Shh. Good kid. Come back here. Come back to me.
Originated from France, Cleo's family ran a small grocery store that is implied to have struggled financially. In this environment, Cleo grown up nonverbal. I'm not really sure what exactly caused her to become like that, but both her lore and design notes mention that she preferred expressing herself through body language rather than words, as she believed that a world of feelings did not need words to exist. Her extended backstory, as well as her design notes, implies that Cleo began performing mime in an attempt to help her family's financial situation, seemingly against her parents' wishes, as her performances would sometimes cause trouble. Still, her efforts failed, as her backstory later states that her uncontrollable talents failed to relieve her parents' business worries. If we look into her backstory video and the later parts of her lore, we can probably see why it failed. Cleo's audience at the time was implied to be just as financially unstable as she was, if not worse. Among her peers and audience, we can see someone living in extreme poverty, someone suffering from a certain illness, and several little beggars. That was the community Cleo grew up in. Perhaps, in today's world, Cleo's environment would be equivalent to a slum area where lower-class communities usually reside. Still, it was there that Cleo found her own happiness in her own little world. Among her peers, she was treated like an older sister figure, or in other words, a leading figure among the children. Somewhere during childhood, I think many of us experienced this kind of feeling too, whether it was looking up to someone like an older sibling among our peers, or perhaps becoming that figure ourselves. According to the backstory, Cleo was treated exactly like that. And I think her ability to perform mime and bring her imagination to life for the other children played a huge part in it too. In the backstory, it is stated that Cleo opened up the world she had created for the children with exaggerated gestures and exquisite whistles, and that the children happily fell into her imaginary world, just as children naturally would. Together, they escaped into a world free from adult problems like poverty, responsibility, and suffering. But nothing in this world lasts forever, and neither did their childhood world. Eventually, Cleo and all of her peers grew up. The children who once relied on her eventually became adults, and Cleo was no longer seen as their older sister figure anymore. Just like a worm that eventually transforms into a butterfly, all of her peers grew up and integrated themselves into adult society. Cleo, however, did not embrace that change. For some reason, she refused to grow up despite getting older. While the backstory never explicitly explains why she chose to remain mentally attached to childhood, I personally think she succumbed to something known as the Peter Pan syndrome, which I'll talk about later. But for now, let's continue with the story. With all of her peers entering the adult world, Cleo became lonely. Moreover, as everyone grew up and aging, Cleo's mime acts, her dreamy imaginary world, and even her nonverbal way of communicating were no longer viewed as charming or amazing, but instead as something unusual within the community. Eventually, those unusual traits began taking a toll on her family's business. In her backstory, it is said that her malice eventually spread to her mother and father in a concrete form. I interpret this as Cleo's mime acts and fantasy world gradually damaging not only her own reputation, but also her family's image within the community, eventually affecting the grocery store itself. Realizing this, Cleo did not abandon her fantasy world and accept adulthood. Instead, she chose escapism. She still wanted to preserve her imaginary world, but she no longer wanted her family to suffer because of it. And so, one night, she silently left home. It is likely that Cleo continued performing mime acts in order to survive. However, the grand dream she had imagined slowly turned into something bitter once confronted by reality, as seen in her backstory video, where her face became grimmer and grimmer as time goes. After some time, an old actor from an art school discovered her and brought her into a certain theater, where she performed for adult audiences. But while the audience viewed her performances as mere acts, for Cleo, at least part of those performances were real, as shown both in the beginning of her backstory video and in her extended lore. In her extended backstory, it is explicitly stated that few people know that in Cleo's mind, everything has always been extremely real. This glass box that surrounds her is being pushed by the cheerful but indifferent sounds of the audience. This implies that while the audience only saw a theatrical performance, Cleo genuinely perceived parts of it as reality. The glass box surrounding her can even be interpreted as a metaphor for how the audience's amusement slowly caused her own world to shrink. Cleo did not remain in the theater for long, as her extended backstory later refers to her as the short-lived mime artist. After leaving the theater, her mind seems to have become even more twisted. Instead of trying to reintegrate herself into society, she once again chose escapism, but this time on a far more disturbing level. Later in the backstory video, we can see Cleo opening a bag and greeting someone inside. At the very end, she returns to her family home, which has now fallen into ruin. Inside the abandoned grocery store, several dolls can be seen hanging around the room, alongside a bag with something moving inside it. Then, from that bag, a hand slowly emerges, twitching slightly before suddenly going limp. And this suggests a horrifying truth about Cleo. The dolls that hung might not even be dolls, but rather human bodies. This suggests that Cleo had become so deeply trapped within her delusions that she attempted to recreate her old dream world. To do so, it is heavily implied that she kidnapped, or possibly even unalived, several people who may or may not have been connected to her childhood peers, turning her family's ruined grocery store into her own twisted playground. Even so, there was still one particular person she had yet to find, the child suffering from this strange illness. Now, many of us know that this person is none other than Andrew Kreis, the gravekeeper, and it is probably for that reason that Cleo eventually came to the manor. Whether the manor owner invited her directly, or she somehow found clues leading her there, we still cannot say for sure. But now, let's return to the topic of her delusions. In psychology, adults who struggle to emotionally mature, avoid responsibility, or desperately cling to a childlike way of living are often associated with something called the Peter Pan syndrome. First of all, I'm not a psychological expert, so if you happen to be one and know more about this syndrome, feel free to add more context in the comment section. If we refer to an article from the London Clinic Psychologist, Peter Pan syndrome is a term used to describe adults who resist taking on the responsibilities and emotional maturity associated with adulthood. Although it is not considered a clinical diagnosis itself, it is still a widely recognized behavioral pattern. The name comes from the famous fictional character Peter Pan, who remains perpetually a child. He spends his time in a place called Neverland, remaining ageless forever while having endless adventures with fairies, mermaids, and the lost boys. In adulthood, Peter Pan syndrome often manifests as a reluctance to embrace responsibility, avoidance of challenges, and a preference for enjoyment over structure, which is something we have already seen in Cleo. Still, according to the article, one of the main causes of Peter Pan syndrome is a childhood that lacked opportunities for independence, accountability, and real-world problem-solving. Parents who overprotect, pamper, or constantly indulge their child's every need can unintentionally prevent them from developing important life skills. To this, I started wondering whether Cleo had that kind of upbringing too. From the backstory, I think it is somewhat implied. There is a certain line in it that mentions how her parents still held up an umbrella for Cleo's childhood. In my take, this means her parents constantly covered for her behavior. Just like an umbrella shielding someone from the rain, her parents may have shielded Cleo from the harsh realities of adulthood, preventing her from properly learning responsibility or experiencing the struggles adults usually face. And according to the article, those kinds of circumstances can contribute heavily to Peter Pan syndrome. While this could explain why Cleo developed this kind of mindset, it still remains only a theory for now. And as a side note, I also want to mention another source that might explain Cleo's condition even better, which is a Twitter post made by St. Beetlejuice. I'll put the post in the video description, so you guys can read and analyze it yourselves. Anyway, let's continue for now. From all things about her that I understand, I personally think this is one of the biggest reasons why Cleo refused to grow up. She never truly experienced the harsher side of life because her parents constantly shielded her from it. Though, I also looked into other people's opinions, and there was one interpretation that I found particularly interesting. This interpretation suggested that another reason Cleo refused to grow up might be because she witnessed too much suffering around her from an early age. You see, Cleo grew up surrounded by poverty all around her. As a child, she escaped from those harsh realities by creating her own fantasy world. That little imaginary world may have become a coping mechanism against everything she saw around her, including adults burdened by their own problems, including her own parents. Cleo may have become terrified of adulthood itself because she constantly witnessed how miserable adults around her seemed to be, working endlessly for money, dealing with stress, losing joy in life, and carrying responsibilities all the time. To Cleo, adulthood may have looked frightening enough that she would rather remain a child forever and continue living inside her fantasy world. And I think her fear of adulthood may have become even worse after she left home and was later discovered by the old actor. There are theories suggesting that unpleasant things happened to Cleo after being taken in by him. One detail that strengthens this theory is the fact that Cleo visibly looked uncomfortable and sad when she first met the old actor in her backstory video. Whatever the true reason may be, one thing is clear to me. Many of the symptoms associated with Peter Pan syndrome can also be found within Cleo's character. Does that automatically mean she definitely has the syndrome? I honestly cannot say for sure. That answer can probably only be confirmed by the developers themselves. For now, all I can really do is guessing that Cleo may have been suffering from Peter Pan syndrome. What's interesting about Cleo in the end is that she has her own tragic story to tell. I wouldn't say that she is innocent, since she is implied to have done horrible things later in her story. However, it is kind of tragic when you think about how, at first, she created her own dream world simply to make herself and all the peers around her happy. The dream world she built was not malicious in the beginning, but later on, that same fantasy world inside her mind became the very thing that drove her to do terrible things. She tried to force reality back into the shape of her childhood fantasy, even if it meant hurting other people. For me, that's the true tragedy of Cleo's story. As for further references and reading, I would suggest checking out Saint Beetlejuice's Twitter post or discussing her character with lore enthusiasts on Reddit and Discord, because who knows? I might have missed something in this explanation, and you might be able to find the missing pieces there instead. Thanks a lot for staying with me, and have a good day.